Hello everyone, this is 007 Copycat, and welcome to my new show called Synopsis Reviews. This is where I take game, movie, show, what have you, summarize it into one little review because I don't have a lot of time on my camera. Anyway, let's go on and review Kingdom Hearts for the PS2. Now, Kingdom Hearts was a dual effort between Square Enix and Disney when Square Enix was called Squaresoft in order to make a game called Kingdom Hearts. Let's move on to the plot. The plot involves Sora and his friends Riku and Kairi. They all want to go on an adventure from their dinky little island and explore the worlds in a raft. However, that is cut short because of Sora's dreams that he's had that they all go into darkness. And they do, with his friends Riku and Kairi being lost. Elsewhere in another kingdom, there is a King Mickey's kingdom, and Goofy the Knight, and Donald Duck the Wizard. They all get this message from King Mickey that he is going on this quest to save the worlds from darkness. No, I'm not making this up. This is not a fan fiction. I swear. So, they both go to Traverse Town on a gummy ship. Yes, that's the real name. Please just roll with it for me. And when they get there, they go to Traverse Town to look for a man named Leon, who happens to be Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. When they are there, they also meet Sora, who eventually discovers that he is a Keyblade and is the chosen hero of the Key World, and all sorts of madness goes about, and they have to travel to all sorts of different Disney worlds, see what I did there, in order to get the king back, Riku back, and just figure out all sorts of other crap in general about worlds and try to keep them away from disappearing. Now, let's go into the graphics. The graphics for the game are the PS2 era, so the graphics are not really good or bad, they're just kind of there. Some of the graphics are really good, like at the beginning of the game and the end of the game. There are those cutscenes which look really fantastical. Then there are the in-game cutscenes which are alright, I guess, but the mouth movements that they have look like those, what were those called, with the Santa Claus is coming to town and Rankin Bass cartoons. The mouth movements look like those Rankin Bass cartoons. And it's kind of odd and kind of creepy. And there are also some awkward moments, too, where they either did not get a voice actor for someone, so what they do is basically put a text box over it in the later on in-game cutscenes, so that way they talk through this box as opposed to the whole voice acting scheme. The graphics themselves are alright for the most part. They're of the standard PS2 era, so I can't really fault them on that. It has that kind of Disney feel, too. They got all of the characters really well designed, including the ones in Halloween Town, which I didn't think they could do considering with stop-motion animation. It's actually pretty well done considering everything else. Okay. Did I cover all the graphics already? Yes, I did. Now, let's move on to the gameplay. The gameplay is the best way I can describe them as a beat-em-up RPG. You know, like those beat-em-ups like Dynasty Warriors and Devil May Cry, where basically you just beat up enemies? That's kind of what you do in this game, but mixed with RPG elements. You have an attack button, which you just use with X. You also have a magic spells, which develop over time, and you have a magic meter, which is called MP. This MP helps you gain more magical abilities, so you can use more spells and all sorts of stuff like that, like healing, fire, blizzard, thunder, and all sorts of other spells that help you along the way in your journey. There's also a thing called AP. These are things to upgrade the characters that you have, from jumping higher or getting better critical hits or treasure magnets and stuff like that. The other thing that they have are items. You can get potions, high potions, ether, which is basically the equivalent of mana. There are tents. There are all sorts of other stuff. You also go on this also for gameplay, you go on this thing called the Gummy Ship, and on this Gummy Ship you go through a space type of battle where you go in a three-dimensional space, not like this, but like this, and you shoot down a bunch of Heartless ships. I don't know how Heartless can control ships, but whatever. You shoot them down, and you basically scatter through them, collecting all sorts of stuff along the way. Now, I will comment on the gameplay right now. The gameplay is good. The problem is that throughout most of the levels, if you do not bring your level up to a high enough plane, you will have a hard time and you will die a lot. Or at least the first time I played I did, because I made a crappy selection. At the beginning of the game, there is this part where you can select weapons, and if I may suggest this, there are items you can get and items you get rid of. Pick the wand, get rid of the sword, but never, I repeat, never, ever get rid of the shield, because that is the thing that will get rid of your defense. I'm not speaking from experience, I'm speaking from a walkthrough, but that's beside the point. Let's talk about the characters. The characters themselves are pretty much close to what they're supposed to be. Donald and Goofy are all the same. Mickey is more like, no, that'd go into spoilers. Let's not talk about Mickey. For the most part, most of the characters do exactly what they are and exactly what they're like. Even in the Final Fantasy universe, they sound pretty much what they're supposed to be like, which is kind of funny to me considering most Final Fantasy characters are exposition this and exposition that. We have no sense of humor whatsoever. It's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan movies. Now time for the other characters. I don't know anything about Final Fantasy. I haven't played any of the games at all, so what their characters are like are beyond me. But as far as I can tell about Cloud is that he was a lot better in Final Fantasy VII than he was in this game, making him really emo-ish. It's kind of distracting. As for Sora, Riku, and Kairi, their characters are fine, I guess, through the amount of time that we even know Kairi for, and Riku himself is an idiot. But Sora himself goes through a lot of development, evolving as a character. Okay, not a lot of development. This is Square Enix, after all. We don't exactly get a lot of development of characters over time, especially the main ones. But he does become braver as time goes on, and he gets what's going on and things like that. In conclusion, what do I think of this game? It's a good game. It's not the greatest game I've ever played or anything, but it is a really good game. It's definitely a testament that I've played it 3 times. So, that's definitely something. Do I recommend you get this game for the PS2? Not really, no. I instead recommend the HD version. Why? Because the HD version, you can skip cutscenes. In this game, you cannot skip cutscenes, and that is a pain in the neck if you are, in fact, dying and you have to watch the cutscene all over again, especially when most of those cutscenes can range about 5 minutes. It's a real pain in the neck, and I do not recommend that. The HD version has better graphics, the magic system is better, so is the summoning system. You'll know what that is if you played the game. You can basically summon other characters from Disney realms and stuff, like Simba and Mushu and stuff. Forgot to mention that. My apologies. I'm doing this unscripted. And the graphics are much better. It also comes with 2 other games which are very important to the plot, especially if you want to play number 2. So I recommend the HD one for the PS3, not the regular one for the PS2. You can play the PS2 one if you're really good at the PS3 one, but I recommend the PS3 one you get. So, thank you for watching this synopsis. Tell me what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see y'all later. This is 007 Copycat saying, have a good night, good evening, good morning, whatever, and take care.